Thank you guys so much for taking the time today. I really appreciate it.
Hi, how are you?
Oh my gosh, I really enjoyed this movie. There's multiple times it brought me to tears. But I want to start with you, Wyatt. How much of true on these horses was you?
A lot. I have,
In a real rodeo too.
yeah, there were a couple
Really?
times,
Yeah.
there were a couple times that, I have had a lot of experience around horses, growing up around horses, from my grandfather on lots of horses in our life. And I've done a lot of movies where I've had to be on horseback, and you're always given training. And so this was sort of a time where I was like, yeah, you know what, I can dally. I can rope, do a little roping. I can do things that I've done, and that would be fun to showcase and just honestly have fun doing. But that was part of what I felt that the movie needed. It needed to feel authentic.
Yeah.
It wasn't going to feel authentic if you weren't doing those things, or you didn't feel comfortable, or somebody didn't feel comfortable doing them. And so it was important to the director and important to me. And so, yeah, there was quite a bit of it.
Awesome. Dennis, I love your performance in this. There's
Thank
that
you.
one scene, the two of you, where you're like building the fence and it's so
Yeah.
emotional. Yeah. Did you bring any of your own experiences as a father into moments like
Oh
that?
yeah, for sure. Absolutely, and I've known this guy uh since he was a little kid, really. His father and I are both pilots. We've hung out some. But yeah, it was these people I lived up in Montana I was there for about 25, 30 years, and I I know these people and what they go through, and to make it, and from dancing at the bar because it rained, so the hay's got to have a third cutting, to just trying to make ends meet. And
In that scene in particular, like one of the things that Dennis brought that like sometimes you just can't tell what an act, you just don't know. It's written a certain way, and then the way Dennis like was in that scene just brought that specific relationship to life in a way that I don't think anybody ever thought was going to be that way. Like it was written as a much more sort of sullen relationship, and
mhm.
a relationship that wasn't as good, to be honest.
Okay.
And so the way that I remember him saying, like, I was just going to tell you that the wire was going to the way that you said, delivered a line, it was like, oh my God, I never thought of it that way. And it like totally just changes things in such an incredible way that you just didn't think was going to, it wasn't what was in your head while you were reading it. And so that relationship, it was so much informed for me, at least, by just Dennis being the kind of person that he is.
So
Um,
he's a character. He saw himself in what his son was going through,
Mhm.
and at the same time, there's this kind of frustration, or if you have the wherewithal to know that it's, you still can't tell him,
Yeah.
because nobody could tell me.
right.
Right. It's hard. It's true. It's true.
No, it's just, you're deep in it.
Yep, absolutely. One thing I do love about this movie is it feels like it is at times about like human instincts, like your will to live, right? Like you could give up. I don't want to spoil things, but like there, it really does feel like that. So what do you hope people kind of take away from the messaging of this?
I hope there's two things. I hope one is that this is the reality of ranching, the reality of rodeo riding for 99.9% of the population that does it. It's not this like right off into the sunset and romantic version of what a cowboy is. It's a very difficult life. It's a very difficult world, and to create and for these people who create our food. They grow our they grow our food. They run the cattle. Like there's a lot of the country that runs off of this world. To be that type of person, you have to run through this kind of gauntlet
Yeah,
and
and
be able to survive it. And so I loved being able to bring that to the world, and not just like a sexy dude with his shirt off, like hanging out with a girl at the end of the rodeo. I mean, like we've seen that movie and it's great, like it's
yeah,
fun, but I wanted to do something that felt real and that felt
clothes are
like it was
crisp.
gonna. What?
The clothes are
Yeah,
crisp.
yeah. I hope that is the takeaway. And
Yeah, and nobody does this life to get rich
right.
anymore, and which was the old way of looking at richer ranchers and all that stuff. But they do it because they grew up that way. And that's the kind of life that they know. And it's, a piece of America that they're determined to hold on to.
Yeah. How important was it for you guys to be able to bring this side to the screen, and for people that don't know and maybe have never even been to those parts of the country to know that this is what these people go
Flyover
through?
is what they're called, and there's a lot of stories there that need to be told.
Yeah,
this is one of them.
That was the draw. I mean, that's the draw. Normally, our business makes movies that like end, like I said, on a big flashy ending, and it's just not a real. There's there's not as much poetry in that, and there's a lot of poetry to be told and read about in this world and in this part of our culture, and it's just not often that we get to see like cowboy culture and cowboy poetry is something I've always loved for the art of it, not for like just the aspect of like riding bulls and drinking Monster Energy drinks and feeling cool. I mean, like that's great.
Hey,
that's
watch
awesome.
this.
Yeah, but there's a whole side of that world that you don't see ever.
There's that world. There's that side.
Which is awesome. What everybody wants. By the way, Drew would love to be drinking Monster Energy drinks and riding, but he's not. and that's those people, and we just wanted to make a movie that was authentic to that that aspect.
It's relatable. People are relatable. The family is, and he does an incredible job. It's put yourself in his shoes and what he goes through. The relationship with his horse is amazing.
Yeah, that was a fun one to play.
That just
total diva.
I mean, you had me at that.
Never hit the marks.
Yeah,
never remember.
But somehow you're still.
Yeah. No, the movie really is so beautiful. But before we wrap, Wyatt, I do have to tell you, I was at CinemaCon and that Thunderbolts bit took me out.
Everybody thought it was real. I was like, I was like, nobody's gonna see this, are they? And they're like, oh no, it's for the audience. And I was like, cut to him like an hour and a half later. I'm at home. My wife, she's like, that was funny. Like, what did you see? She's like, you were drunk doing the drunk bit with the thing, and like everybody thinks you were actually drunk and gambling. I was like, what?
I knew it was a bit. I could tell.
And no, it was fun. Really fun group of people.
It's a lot of fun. Listen, I can't wait for Thunderbolts, and I'm excited that you got a chair in the reveal. You got a chair.
Got a chair. I got a chair. I'm taking it home. I'm locking it in my closet, and no one's taking that chair from me. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be cool. Can't say anything about it, obviously.
Yeah, obviously, yeah. Well, I'm very excited that you're returning. And Dennis too. I got to tell you, A Happy Face is so good.
Oh, thank you.
I love that show.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
I was. It's different. What else do you do after you do Reagan? Right.
Happy Face. Apparently.
There you go.
Just be a serial killer. It's fine. Awesome. Well, thank you both so much for your time. I really appreciate it. Big fan of both your works. And I don't know, maybe this prepared you to ride a kaiju in Monarch season 2. Why?
Yeah, maybe.
Could.
That'd be cool.
Why not?
Yeah. Pitch it now.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.